Hey, welcome all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, B-Farm. Thinking right out here in the lab. Know what I do for you. I'm going to piggyback off the lesson we're doing with the tools you need to use to become self-mastery, or tools to use for self-mastery. But let's do what we do first. Rightism. I'm just excited. 25 rule to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune and receive them. You got a good thing going. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do now. Right thinking mission, and yeah, that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help, and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission to that all right thinkers, know thyself. So I'm gonna give you the tools you need to use to do just that. That's why I give daily lessons. Let's go, aka life lessons, rightisms. Know thyself is the question I ask. Do you know you? If it's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. Be them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and thinks that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right? Think, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. I left off with, I think it was with steadfastness, but now we're going to start out with, this is one of my favorites. Discipline. I'll call it spiritual discipline when you adhere to your higher self. So let's go. So this was titled, Right Thinkers, let's talk about the tools you need to use for self-mastery. And starting with discipline. Discipline is the will to pursue our aspirations. Being an individual, go for what you know. Don't let nobody sway you and deny you. Your will is to pursue our aspirations in life and the strength to make them a reality. George had a record called Fantasy is Reality. It's a thought that you have. It may be a fantasy when it's in your mind, but it's a reality when you manifest it. That's discipline to make what you want happen. I'm doing it. I'm teaching you to do the same thing. It's a very easy thing to do once you get good at it. Hence, self-mastery. Second one is one of my favorites. You see me do this. Equanimity. Understanding right from wrong. Equanimity. Emotional stability that comes from what? Maintaining balance, okay, of mind and situations, of gains and losses. Either way is okay. The serenity of what? Knowing one's true self, knowing thyself at all times. First, through what? Achieving intellectual knowledge. Right there. Ignorance will never get to God. You have to achieve intellectual knowledge, and then what? Through direct experience for yourself. Dispassion. Detachment. This feels like I did this before. Detachment is don't involve yourself in a situation where you have to be objective. If you don't take your passion, detachment, you don't take yourself out of the situation, you're caught up in it. That's hard to deal with. And dispassion. Stop getting emotionally involved in situations. Those are things that help you become self-master. Why? You ain't in anybody else's business. That's why. Contentment. These are tools. Remember, I'm giving you something to put in your pocket and use them when necessary. Contentment. You are the universe. You should want for nothing. All is inside you. What else is needed? I like that concept. That's being content with yourself and dealing with life as you go. Why? That don't bother me. I'm content with me, myself. The next one is, here you go, fearlessness. This is when you hear somebody say, when I tell you, if the Grim Reaper came and says it's time to go, okay, pack up, I'm going. Why? That's fearlessness. I ain't scared. You can't scare me, threaten me. That don't mean nothing to me. I come from an era where it ain't what you say, it's what you do. So you are, what's this? You are, therefore, you cannot be afraid of what? Yourself. If you're God, why are you scared of God? We call ourselves God-fearing men. We fear not obeying our higher self and what's going to happen with karma, not God. Karma takes care of bad actions. Okay? Moving on. Now let's talk about the sage, which I claim to be. What's this? Now, if I claim to be a sage, I should fit what they say about a sage. Let's see if I do. The sage know that the spirit self or the Ba is what? Immortal. I know that. And eternal. Teach you that. Nothing that happens in the world can what? Destroy or change that. Once we get there, we just went through being fearless. That's what fearless means. So there is what? No need to grieve for the loss. If somebody died, loved one, whatever, it's part of life. They got their situation to deal with. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And what's this? For the loss of a loved one, again, just got finished talking about my dad, or the loss of an object. Things could kill us. Okay? Now, to live and what? Act with this knowledge, Maya, right thinking, as the basis of one's, listen, everyday consciousness is to maintain steadfastness. I'm on my mission to give you information that I know you can use to better yourself. That's my job. That's my mission. And I'm what? Steadfast in the morning every day. 5 years and counting. Let's go. Let's talk about fear. The acronym for fear is, remember, false evidence appearing real. Well, what you mean by that? What's this? Truth protects you from fear. That's how. If you know the truth, where's the fear? Fear comes from not knowing. Ignorant people live in fear. Calm down. I got a lot of stuff to say, but try to keep it to what I'm talking about. Fear. Most religious people, they deal with you by putting you in fear. Fear of going to hell. Fear of God did. That's fear. This thought process, and it's wrong. Got a lesson for that too. Wrong thinking. All right, let's talk about fear. You get over fear by what? Knowing the truth. Simple. Fear is a natural human tendency. Watch this. It is a useful tool, again, to let us know when we are what? In danger. That's the first level of the chakras. Fight or flight, knowing if they friend or foe. Get past that. Raise up. Watch this. When there's danger or what? How to avoid or potentially dangerous situation. That's street. The greatest fear, watch this, by far is what? The fear of death. Ding, 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 ding. With Egyptians, it was caught up in death. No, we just understood it's the process of life. Duality, life, death. So don't get caught. And why fear something that's going to happen? That's inevitable. Trust me. That's where knowledge comes in at. Get understanding and not the what you don't know out the box and know. So moving on. Fear is one loss of possessions, fear of hunger, fear of rejection. Oh, how people see me, they don't like me. Fear, and watch this. Finally, fear of exploring the darkness of one's own mind of self-discovery. And Return of the Jedi. We all have psychological trauma that we deal with. We all have that dark side that we don't deal with. Go to the darkness. I tell you before, the light thing, light is back here. Darkness is where you come from. Go and adventure down the dark road. You're going to have to go there anyway. Do it while you're here. Get familiar with it. Know yourself. Dark side too. Oh, not just the good side, not just the happy. No. Find that demon side and work on bettering him. Slay that demon. Okay? That perversion, that greed, all those qualities in you, that's what you need to be taking care of within yourself because you control that. So that's the part that makes you self-discovery. Why? You know your dark side. Other people could see you, and I just told you about constructive criticism. That's what they see, so they can try to help you with whatever it is they see the weaknesses. We don't take it right. But when you take a look at yourself, now you can be honest with yourself. Moving on, sorry, I won't get caught up in that. Now, the expectations and the fear of what? Death is torture to the multitudes who what? Who don't know truth in themselves. Fear is overcome. Here we go. Well, there you go. How you overcome it? I'm about to tell you right now. Calm down. Fear is overcome through what? The power of wisdom. Wisdom comes from what? Experience. Gained through what? Learning the teachings, meditating on them, and applying them in your everyday situations in life. This one I'm trying to tell you, right thinking is a way of life. Because if you practice what I'm teaching you, you will put it in your daily life and you'll see, yeah, it works. I'm smooth as silk now. That's knowing thyself and living right. So, as one explores the occult hidden world, every religion is an occult. Why? You have hidden secrets amongst each other. Y'all reach the same concepts and views. Y'all meet on certain days. That's an occult. It ain't a bad thing. Watch this. But you reach an occult, which is the hidden world, through what? Introspection and meditation. One will what? Discover that what is commonly called, you ready? Death is not death at all. Spiritual beings don't die. Human beings do. So if you think you're human, you're going to die mentally. And you probably will consciously. So that's dying twice. We know about that too. So, and I say, wait, I got the concept from the Egyptians. So watch this. We all are called death. Watch this. Death ain't death at all. But what is it? But death is just a different form of consciousness which one will experience in another part of one's spirit. I tell you, every time you go to sleep, you lay this body down. The body is dead. Why? Because now you're taking over mentally. You don't need the body. You go into the astral world. You go into the dream world. I got enough left for that coming too. But that's the next realm where you can mentally think and be there and don't be there physically. So remember, I tell you, every time you go to sleep, we're practicing for death. Because that's the state that you're going to be in. Okay? Self-discovery. Knowing thyself is what? Is nothing more than, you ready? The exploration of that dark side of the realm that usually referred to what? By the ignorant is death. See? When you don't know something, you make up a whole bunch of stuff. Instead of just saying, I don't know, and get somebody who do and gain the knowledge. You just can't make up stuff out of thin air and make that your belief. That's what it's about pretty much. Because if you knew, you ain't got the belief. So that's my point. And watch this. There's a process of this experience is apprehensive, watch this, at first. But as one gradually becomes what? Used to experiences of what? Lights, sounds, apparitions, leaving the body, astral planning, dreaming, lucid dreaming, realizing you in that next realm. Physically, we in the physical world right now. We got to deal with the five senses. When you lay down and go to bed, the body don't exist. Why? Because everything is in the mind. You got a lesson for that too. Watch this. You got a lesson for everything, pretty much. But we should communicate telepathically, okay? These impressions will become part of what? Your subconscious as well as one's conscious mind. Fearing death is a waste of time. That's for the ignorant. The goal, watch this, the goal is to be equally comfortable where? In all levels of your experience in your mind and of existence. To be one with who? The universal soul. This process may take days, right thinkers, weeks, months, years, and some people lifetimes. Why? Because they don't learn to first go around, depending on one's level of what? Self-discipline. If you let something control you from the outside, you have a problem. Self-discipline takes care of that. Self-knowledge takes care of that. What's this? Where we at? It depends on your level of what? Discipline, self-discipline, and personal desires, and your love for what? All things, understanding, patience, devotion to who? God, and fearlessness. No fear here. One of the best ways to reduce fear is to what? Develop your faith. Speaking of faith, good segue. That's what we're going to talk about right now. Faith. Faith comes through what? Understanding. Indirect knowledge. That means something that you learn. Again, faith is done by gaining knowledge. Watch this. And what? Develop from what? How you gain this knowledge? From listening, reflecting, and practicing the teachings, the intellectual understanding, get understanding. It transforms into what? Intuitional knowledge. When you learn indirect knowledge, it gives you the ability to raise your level and become intuitive with the knowledge that you already have. That's called raising your consciousness. And watch this. Transforms into intuitional understanding through meditation, daily meditation. You can't meditate haphazardly. It's got to be formulated. Why? It's a process, and you'll see why if you practice it. That's the point. Let me get this thing on. Whoa, I see time running. Now, you may not yet understand your experiences, but you know that what? They point to the fact that there is something, what? Beyond the ordinary state of consciousness. Every time you go to sleep, you go to another level. Sorry. Speaking of that, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Those are three states of consciousness that we go through either willingly or we're going to go through it one way or another. So it's good to understand the process. So let's talk about patience, perseverance, and one I'm still working on, forgiveness. I'm still working on that personally, so I have a problem with that. So let's talk about that. These three ideas are important since the road is long and only those who what can endure. If you can't handle it, bye-bye, will attain what? The coveted goal. Remember, only the strong survive. And you see down here at the pyramid, there's a whole bunch of us. As we rise in consciousness and faith and belief in mastery, you ain't a whole bunch of us at the top, is it? So they tell you right here, it ain't easy. And it's a coveted goal. Oh, yeah. Oh, the work you put in to obtain self-knowledge is worth every minute. Trust me. Now, engaging what? The progress of your spiritual discipline. That's up to you. Do not judge yourself on the basis of if you have had a good meditation or if you are able to understand all the teachings that I'm giving you or if you have acted wrongly. You have total control over all those things. And it's up to you. That's the point. So watch this. In life, I give a life lesson because I'm trying to explain to you. It's life. You got to deal with it every day. It ain't going nowhere. So get better at living it. There will be ups and downs. There we go. Remember that? In your psychological journey. Trust me, that's part of the game. But sometimes you may what? Stop and wonder if you are what? Doing the right thing. And if the way you feel is normal. These are questions that's going to help you improve yourself because if you ask those questions, it's something that you're aspiring for, something that you want, and that's beyond the normal. The ignorant won't question themselves. The ignorant won't reflect on themselves. The ignorant won't go inside themselves. So that's a start. And watch this. If all judgment, here you go, of one's progress is on the spiritual path, should be based on what? Your personal assessment on yourself should be based on what? Your emotional what? Detachment. Tool I told you need to be able to use. To what? To worldly objects, including people. I don't want to see, no, I don't need nobody. Air. I need that. Companionship, friendship, don't need that. Moving on, just a concept. Watch this. When you got yourself, you got your higher self, you good. Which watch this. When you understand that fact, which will allow what? Allow you to what? Experience what? Inner peace and the ability to what? Control your emotions, such as anger in particular. Put a button in that. When you are frustrated personally, when you feel like the world done something to you or somebody did something to you, that's anger. And all you want to do is the first time somebody rise you or get you upset, you ready to lash out. I lived that life for a long time. That's personal anger. You're just mad. I understand that. Peace of mind is becoming at peace with yourself. That's the big difference. And watch this. What happened? You will have to forgive who? Yourself. Ding, ding, ding. Right there. When you do not perform up to your expectations, don't beat yourself up. Just reflect and try to improve and do better. Tomorrow, what happened yesterday is over. But when you self-reflected, you know that maybe something I could have done better. I went through that phase. Trust me, it's a learning phase. You have to go through it. But your emotional, here you go, your emotional detachment is not to be confused with what? With adopting a non-caring attitude. Uh-uh. I don't concern myself. I don't get caught up in somebody else's problems and issues. That's not a problem. That's okay. You don't have to be bothered by everybody else's situations. This is what growing and self-mastery is all about. When you watch this, when with alienation, watch this, of others or physical separation from the world, you must try your best to what? Perform your duties to perfection while separating oneself from the action. Do what you know is right. Do the right thing. Never mind the situation. Never mind. Nope. Just do the right thing. Why? That's what you control. And detachment and dispassion, what's this? Are mental disciplines. I'm not allowing myself to get caught up. She looked good. She pretty, so I'm going to help. That's nonsense. That's why you put yourself in an entanglement. Now you got to get involved in something that if you use your own assessment, wouldn't be there. Understand that. What good, watch this. What good would it do to give up all your possessions only to be upset later? Why? Because you were not ready to give it all up. Or you can't believe what you have done. Again, your action, you did it. Now, after the fact, Monday morning quarterbacks never won a game. They zero for everything. That shot that the player didn't take, he's zero for everything. Why? You'll never know if you don't take it. Okay? Rather than what's this? That second guessing have you done something, rather than what? You develop a feeling of I can take it or leave it, or I will be the same with or without it. Meaning you ain't caught up in a whole bunch of material nonsense or people who don't mean you no good. You ain't got to be around them. They mistreat you. Leave them alone. They argumentative. Leave them alone. Simple. Or watch this. Now, or success or failure depends on what? The netter. It is their will. We are guided. And like I said, no coincidence. Certain things you got to play the role. And if you're ignorant, you ain't in sync, you ain't living right, you ain't even in the ballpark. So watch this. The idea that my body is what? Just an instrument of God. The inner higher self, which is that's who our higher self is God assigned us, should be what? Cultivated, learned, understood. Again, cultivated, understand that what? I am a servant of God. You hear me say that? I'm a servant. I do God's work. But my pastor tell me I don't do God's work in church. I got one hand to God, one hand to the unprivileged, the less fortunate. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm a streetwalker. I do what? My work for people who need what I do. I don't dig around flaunting my stuff to people who don't care about it. I go where I'm needed. I get the Christ concept. So I understand that. And watch this. If you know God, you either become a servant of God or you just obey him, which is still being a servant. And watch this. I am a servant of God, right thinkers, and my ego is a charted, changeable illusion. Further, understand what? I am one with the netter. In this manner, if the project fails or whatever you're doing fails or succeeds with that understanding and attitude, what happens? You will remain as before, calm, at peace, and in control, as is the what? Observing by which is the spirit, which is who you really are anyway. You are what's inside you, not what's outside you. Recognize the I. Let me wrap this up. I see the time is running. All right, good lesson. Hope you're enjoying this one. I'm getting it done right now. But eventually, you have to what? Through sustained daily effort, it will require no thinking. Watch this. And one will develop what? Strength of will to do what is Maya, truth, justice, righteousness, aka the right thing. One will what? Begin to act consciously aware of what? Everything that one does. And watch this. Every motivating thought that has come into one's mind, one will know which thoughts are what? Righteous and which are not. Discernment. One will learn to tell the difference between the real and the unreal. Again, Anubis. One will see the pettiness and ignorance of war, hate, greed, racism, sexism, attachments to what? Worldly possessions, and detachment to what? People who don't mean no good, people who are variable, changeable, and who are at one time may love you and later time hate you. Been there, done that. One will now be what? You will be able to attach yourself to what? To God, who is my everything. I just say in church. Complacency, regret, and sorrow are what? The discouragers from who? Set your ego side. Know that what? Ye are gods with a divine destiny. Spiritual destiny. I just gave that lesson. Discharges are but what? Transient distractions leading you away from the path of life and what's right, aka yourself. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Again, in closing, right thinkers, may you live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never knew that right thinker like you had passed away. I got more. I'll be back.